We had some advantages in that we only had 20 students, so we didn't have a whole classroom full. And they chose where they worked. Some worked on the floor, others were in the hallway working, others were at a table. So they really were able to decide for themselves what worked best for them.
Yes.
And spread out and interact with each other. When one couldn't figure something out, someone else would have an idea and they would try that idea. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it failed, and then they would try a different idea. And it was a lot of just trial and error, which is what science is today, is, you know, coming up with a hypothesis, testing it, and then moving on. And they really got a taste of how that works.
And it's important for our viewing audience of the parents and grandparents to hear that no longer we had to be silent too.
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
yes.
Children were seen. I think we
And
came
not
up-
heard,
and
yeah.
not heard.
Yeah, no.
So you see now that when you go in classrooms now, parents and grandparents and that look for young people working in groups and pairs and to be spread out. And when they're on the floor, of course, they would never allow us out of our seats.
No,
To get out of our seats, we had to raise our hand.
right.
So that was unheard of. But this is the wave as we reform, take the steps of reform in education, that we'll see classrooms like that.
One thing I'd just like to, what were the benefits for the students in the long run, in your opinion?
Using computers is something that they're going to need to, that skill they'll need forever. So that they had a taste of that. Programming is something that maybe some of them will like to get into as they go through their schools. The science piece of trial and error, engineering, building, experiences that they can't necessarily have during the day because the equipment is pricey, but we were able to just choose a few students and allow them to experiment with what materials we were able to provide them.
It's fantastic. That's great.
There were 20 students at each
At
site.
each site,
So a
yes.
total of 80 students were participants in the
Yes,
program.
right.
We need to let our viewing audience know that we had 4 schools. We have Harland Schools here tonight. Great job with the students, and you and Scott did an outstanding job.
Thank you.
We want to just also commend Warner School, Shortledge, and William C. Lewis. We just feel that, you know, we've given that opportunity by the district under the leadership of the superintendent that would give my wife and I that opportunity to do something for the elementary students. And we just feel like, you know, they've opened up the door and helping us to work with our young people. And you and Scott just, every time I came into your room, I mean, I was just so impressed, as Ms. Pritchett said, it was like on point.
Yeah.
And-
Well, we have a
all
great
over
group
schools,
of kids
yeah.
that were very interested. It's an engaging program. So LEGO has done a great job with the program. The district has committed to giving us even more funding for next year, so we're thrilled
Yeah,
to
I
be
heard
able
that.
to
Yes, that's great.
to repeat the program, to have learned from what we did and expand it. We're very lucky to
Oh, absolutely.
to have that.
Because it was like a pilot program.
It was a pilot program, that's
And
correct.
once that saw the benefits, and Dr. Daugherty has said that
Right.
he's moving towards making it
Yes,
a part
Yes.
of the school program, and that's continuing, because at the high school and middle school we had those
Right.
initiatives,
Yes.
and so now you have that continuing coming from the elementary level, which is important. Now, not only did they have the after school program, but they also had the opportunity to go to on site to the NASA Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. And what impressed you about the center, about the NASA center?
Well, I want to start by saying that LEGO has a program called Bricks in Space, where they use a different kit, and a NASA astronaut on the space station builds certain machines and tests them in space, and podcasts a video of that, so that students on Earth can replicate that build and replicate that experiment, and so they can see what microgravity does and what effect it has on different machines. So in trying to get the funding for that, which we're still working on, we thought what a great idea is to actually go and visit NASA. What we saw there was this particular center is where they serviced the Hubble telescope, and that project is no longer active. So they're creating a new telescope, which I believe in maybe 7 or 8 years will be launched, something like that. And so we saw a clean room where they're actually building this telescope, which will go actually 1 million miles out into space. So the kids were able to see actual pieces of this telescope, to see the men working on the solar panels and running experiments on that. They were able to see chambers that house different pieces that will be going into space, and run tests in those chambers. So it was a great experience for the students to see. And who knows, maybe one of them will actually become a NASA engineer
Absolutely.
or a technician or something
That's
someday.
Right. That's right.
And we are glad to have here with us this evening a representative from our community that works there at the NASA Space Flight Center, and that's Miss Angela Mason. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, very good. Tell us a little bit about some of the schools that you attended, because we see these young people, the 5th graders, 4th graders, and what elementary schools did you attend?
I attended George Gray, which is now Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison, yes.
And also Drew Powell. Is that a new
Yes,
school?
yeah.
New name for that school?
Yes,
probably now.
that's the district office now.
Oh, okay. So I go way back.
Right.
Then, of course, I attended Bancroft, which that's where I really got interested in math. At Bancroft, I had a great teacher, Miss Davis. I'll never forget
Yes,
her.
I remember Miss Davis.
And she had different contests. We were learning about the metric system, and I won the contest. And it just really excited me about math and just loved it. Then I went to Howard Career Center, and I majored in data processing at Howard Career Center. And after I graduated from high school, I attended Hampton University and got my bachelor's in mathematics. I hear a lot of students like mathematics with almost like a minor in computer science, and I also took some engineering courses, and ended up getting into engineering. I ended up landing an engineering position at NASA. So if I've done it, you guys are going to do it as well.
Yes.
And later I received my master's from George Washington University in engineering management. So that's fine.
So, what are you doing there at this time? I know you said something about designing